Father, we give you glory, honor, and praise today. We ask you for forgiveness of all sin. Sins of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now, God, liberate these, your people. Allow us to hear your voice, to hear your word, your anointed word, God, that it would break free the imprisoned mind and hearts of your people. Father God, we love you for your word on today, and we thank you for the impending victory. God, we thank you that victory is just around the corner. Victory is right next to us. And God, we thank you and accept it, receive it in Jesus' name. God, anoint the ears of the hearers that they may hear your word today. Anoint my mouth that I may speak only what you've said. In Jesus' name we pray. Those who agree say amen. Fear removes freedom. Let me go back and correct this by just simply saying the wrong fear removes freedom. As I was sitting in my office, the Lord began to talk to me about the correct fear. I'm going to give you 3 scriptures right quick that are not going to be on display, but you have to look them up. Proverbs 19:23, Proverbs 16:7, and Matthew 10:28. Hold those in your memory, please. The people of God still struggle with fear today. They struggle with the wrong fear. The wrong fear that concerns itself with what's going to happen tomorrow. The wrong fear of concerning itself with what ifs. The wrong fear that concerns itself with, am I loved? The wrong fear that concerns itself with, did I get it right? We are oftentimes consumed by the wrong fears. Nevertheless, God has given us a remedy today. God wants us to understand what the right fear is to be. The right fear is Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. The right fear is Proverbs 16:7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. The right fear deals with Matthew 10:28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. But rather, fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So why do we become so consumed with the fears of this life? When we proclaim, oftentimes, we're Christians, we're believers, we're saved, we're sanctified, we're filled with the precious Holy Ghost. But fear is always living at your house. Fear is always creeping around your door. Why? Because my Bible tells me, whom the Son has set free is free indeed. John 8:36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. So then if you have proclaimed to be a follower, a Christian, a believer, whom the Son has set free is free indeed. You're already free. I don't understand what your hesitation is, but listen. If you didn't know you were free, let me give you a bit of truth, because the truth is going to also free you. John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. If you didn't know, now you do. The truth comes to set you free, to loose you from the bondage of the imprisonment that the world tends to want to put on us as believers. Once you understand the freedom of truth, you'll understand to take God with you wherever you go, because wherever he is, he's liberating us. The Bible says, let me let you read it. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Now, the Lord is that Spirit. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, liberation, freedom. So if you've taken God with you to work, to home, to play, to restaurants, to concerts, to wherever it is you travel, if you've taken God with you, he's allowed you to abide in his safety, in spite of other people's outcome. So you can go around the world and find out where there's a bunch of people and tragic things happen. Some people's lives are spared, some are not. Well, I would question, did somebody take God with them? I don't care where you are. You can be at a peaceful protest and nothing happens to you. Why? Because you are abiding in the peaceful atmosphere of the God you serve. So wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. We need to stop getting entangled by the enemy and be free in Christ. Galatians 5:1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Stop getting in the middle of getting imprisoned by the enemy. Just stop. What's the point? The enemy comes only but kill, steal, and destroy. He has nothing good for you. If you have given your life to Christ, the enemy don't got your package. God does. We need to remember that. Stop thinking that the world got something for us. God's got all you need. All you need to do is go to him. How do I know that? Well, when we start to pay attention to where fear came from, we understand it didn't come from God. How do I know that? 2 Timothy 1:7. 2 Timothy 1:7. Listen, y'all catch this. For God hath not given us that means God issues out things. If y'all didn't catch that. But he says, the God we serve did not give us the spirit of fear, fright, cowardness, confusion, worry. God didn't give us that. But what he did give us was power, love, and your right mind, a sound mind. That's what he did give you. He didn't give you that spirit of fear that the enemy tries to engulf us in, that causes us to research things, hear me now, before God has decided what the outcome will be. Why do we do that? Somebody say you got something, you go research it instead of praying, instead of surrendering it to God. Listen, let it go. If God is responsible for it, what you doing putting your eyes in it, your 2 cents in it? What are you doing? If he did not give us a spirit of fear, fear will provoke you to do things you ain't got no business doing. Fear dismisses, disrespects, and despises freedom. Fear does. Fear keeps us where it wants us. Listen, what fear? Fear, the wrong fear now, the fear the world gives, keeps us in its grasp to control us. The problem is, in God, we're liberated. We're free. Somebody might argue, me, not the word, because you can't argue the word will take care of itself. But somebody might want to argue with me and say, but sir, what's the difference? You say the wrong fear and the right fear, because we just read 3 scriptures that tell you to fear God. That fear is a reverence, a respect, a conscious, obedient spirit. That's what that fear is. The other fear that the enemy uses in his arsenal of weaponry to dislodge, disconnect, and cause disobedience in God's people. Yeah, fear causes disobedience also, if you didn't know. Why? Because if you are going to abide in fear, you're going to abide in rebellion. You're not going to do what God tells you to do. If he tells you to give it to me, you give it to him. Fear says, but. God didn't put no but in there. But you're going to stick your butt in there. And then you go looking up stuff. And you start to worry. You start to fret. What do I need to do? Well, what about this? I heard that some people take the vaccine and they get sick. So did you take it in you, or did you take it in God? That's the question. Because if you took it in you, you took it in fear. You took it by a fear-motivated stance. Fear said, go get the vaccine so you don't get sick. Instead of, God, I honor you and I thank you that you're making the vaccine safe for me to receive. I ask that you would guide me on which one to take. And he did that for me. I ain't playing with y'all. Look, I can tell y'all now because it's so far in the game. When I prayed about it, all these different things people were saying about different vaccines. I prayed about it. I said, all right, God, you tell me which one to take. He said, wait. I said, huh? He said, wait. I said, okay. I waited. He said, now go and take this one at CVS. I said, see, are they doing it? He said, yeah. I said, okay. So I went. Some people are not going to believe that you can have that kind of conversation with God. Well, that's your relationship. Mine is, I went and got it. Guess which one it was? Moderna. Guess which one hasn't been in the news? Guess which one tends to fight all variants? Guess which one has the least amount of trouble? Moderna. Somebody say, well, say what you want to say. But my God shall supply all of my needs through his riches in glory. Only glory knew which one. Only glory knew how. When you entrust God to take care of you, he'll do it. Hands down, no questions asked. And then you are fearful to disappoint God. See, I don't want to ever get in the way of God causing victories in my life. Believe it or not, we do it all the time. Every time the Lord has a victory at the door, you act a fool. What you mean, preacher? You go back to your old ways. You start second guessing God. What you mean? Not yourself. You second guess God. How you mean that? Well, is he a way maker or is he not? If you're going to trust him to make a way, stop trying to figure it out. If you're going to trust him to heal you, Be obedient and sit down. What you mean, sir? Well, some people can believe that healing lies within medicine. I'm of the belief system that God does the healing. Man does all he can do. And when you have certain surgeries, they'll tell you, we've done all we can do. It's now up to God. Huh? I thought y'all do complete work around here. Shouldn't I be able to? It's up to God now. Oh, so this is out of your pay grade. It was the whole time. Yes, he has a gift. Yes, he wields a mean scalpel. And he's good at suturing. But it is God who will go in and actually do the healing. As soon as you get to that point and you start to understand it, you can stop walking in fear. Oh my God, I'm going to die. I got one question for you. If you ever go in for surgery and you feel like you're going to die, don't tell me. Because I'm going to tell you the wrong thing you don't want to hear. I'm going to ask you real plain and simple. Are you ready? Yes. I'm that one. Bishop, you're not going to say nothing encouraging? You're not going to pray for? No! You've already decided you're going to die. So then my question to you is, are you ready? You've allowed fear to come in where God has not decided the outcome. You've allowed fear to enter into your mind and your body and your path. Where God has already proclaimed victory, you have deposited the world's fear. Listen. Fear, the world embraces. Watch this. Y'all going to like this. When God told me this, fear also comes in the place of a word called thrill. Hear me now. You get on this big old ride. It takes you to the pinnacle of the ride and drops you. That thrill, that fear of possible. Ah! The world embraces that. The fear of going into a scary house on Halloween. We love it. Ah! We love it. We have been seduced and demonically illusioned that fear is okay. Y'all check it. You'll see how children nowadays have no respect for life. I'm hearing across the news so many young people are killing so many young people. I don't care about the race. The fact that you're a kid, 17, 16, 15, killing somebody. I got a problem with that. First of all, again, I'm going to be that preacher you don't want to come to. Well, your mama and your dad, I don't even want to talk to you. And then for mama, I'm that preacher again. Move, ma'am. Sir, what was you thinking? Why did you raise him to be this way? I didn't raise him to be. Oh, so you didn't raise him. We don't ask the right questions, but listen, God has given us 4 questions that we should ask. So if fear is not from God, then who deployed it? Who presented it? The answer? The enemy. What's the purpose of fear? What's its design? These are all questions that you can ask yourself when you feel that fear overwhelmingly inside of your heart. You ask yourself this question and you answer, to disconnect my faith and trust in God. That's its design? Absolutely. That's that. You tell me what else is fear good for. Fight or flight mode ain't the same. Ain't the same. Fear imprisons you. It binds you. It calls you not to walk uprightly in your rightful place as a kingdom kid, a child of God. And when you know your position and you know who your daddy is, y'all get ready. This is going to be a PG part. We are not bastard children. We belong to God. And when you know who your daddy is, you walk in his name. You walk in his legacy. You walk in his power. You go up to the counter and you use his credit, not yours. What is being deployed against me? Fear. Why is it being deployed against me? Because I don't belong to the devil. I belong to God. Y'all forget, this war ain't about you. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. The Bible even went on to say that we wrestle against wickedness in high places. That's above you. It ain't even about you. But you keep sticking your little self in there like you're so important. Like the devil just always picking on me. You ain't that important. Stop fooling yourself. If you have been entangled with some trouble and can't get out of it, you might want to question your walk with God. If you're going to walk around and call yourself his child, he's going to expect you to behave yourself as such. And when you don't, you have consequences. You have punishments. Last question. Why am I believing all of this foolishness about fear? Why am I believing the fear? It's one thing for me to recognize it, but it's another thing for me to start to believe it. Why am I believing it? Well, I think it's because you're looking through your eyes, your flesh, your mind. Jesus said, let this mind, which was in me, also be in you. Let my mind take over. Stop trusting your mind. Your mind tends to give you illusions. Your mind tends to give you weakness. Your mind tends to give you outcomes that I have not issued to you. That's what happens. Why do we believe fear? Why do we believe the stories? Why do we believe when somebody come and knock on our door with a scam? I see here you owe taxes. You know you don't owe no taxes, but you believe that idiot standing at your door. You believe the idiot on the other end of the line. I'm one of them people you can't pull a scam on the phone. I'm going to tell you why. If you can't see me face to face, what you going to do to me over the phone? Huh? Nothing. I don't care how old I get. You ain't going to, over the phone? Oh no. If you come knocking at my door, watch this now. You got a gun? I got one. What we doing? If it's a scam, somebody ain't gonna leave here today. I pray it ain't gonna be me. Bishop, you can't talk like that. Yes, I can. We live in this world. We live in this time. And these are perilous times. People would rather take what you worked hard for than to go work for it. People would rather see you lose your life than for them to have to go get a job. And whatever you got, I don't care how much it is not worth your life. But you can't tell some of these people that. Well, 2 Corinthians 10, 4 through 5, gives us the battle plan insight to this war. And listen, in case you didn't know, known tactics of your enemy helps not to be defeated. If you know the tactics of your enemy, it can help you to avoid defeat. if you know the enemy is going to use fear as a weapon against you, don't believe it when it comes. For the weapons of our warfare, ours, are not carnal. What's carnality? Flesh. It's not an object. It's spiritual. Are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. He just told you right there that the weapons that you are supposed to be having and dealing with are so powerful in God, they pull down strongholds of the enemy. Understand what you're reading. If you got a weakness in something, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. If you've been suffering with something that's been holding on for a long time, ain't it time for you to be free? You call yourself a believer. Well, believe it. Because the Bible tells us you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Listen, verse 5. Casting down, imaginations. Get your imagination in check. Every time I turn around, your imagination going off somewhere it ain't got no business going. Looking at stuff it ain't got no business looking at. Imagining how things could be. We all are guilty. But the Bible says, casting down imaginations. Get them under control. Stop letting them run wild, like wild horses through the field. Free, untapped, untamed, uncontrolled, but controlling you. And every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, that includes you, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. When you bring your whole being into the subjection of the obedience of Christ, you'll find the vast treasures of God are opened and released in your life. See, we can quote this all day. Is there anything too hard for God? No. We say it, but we don't walk in it. I can do all things through Christ. We say it, but we don't walk in it. We walk in the fear of the world. The world tells you you can't do something. Listen, let me help y'all liberate yourself. The world tells you you can't buy something because you don't got no credit. I ain't using mine. What you mean, Bishop? I prayed, talked to God. He told me. What you saying? God told? Yes. One of the worst things I think people don't want to hear from God is, wait. Y'all don't know how much trouble I get in because I wait. He say, don't move. I don't move. Why? Let me help you. They that wait on the Lord shall what? Renew their strength. What that mean? All of the strength, the energy, the effort, everything that man thought I was being lazy in, God said I'm going to replenish. I'm going to stand you up. I will exalt you. That's God's way. If you wait. Problem today is folk live in a microwave society and waiting ain't a part of it. Listen, Jesus. Y'all gonna like this. I pushed the button, but nothing came out. Jesus, I pushed 30 seconds. That's all I needed. God, I need my miracle in 30 seconds. Ding! Microwave went off, Jesus, but you didn't come through. What's going on? You ain't got that kind of relationship, first of all. How much time do you spend with him? How much communication do you give him? How much love? How much obedience? You want that instantaneous miracle? Get right with him. Stop walking in fear. Walk in the power that God gave you. Listen, stop walking, talking, seeing, and living in fear. Be in God's freedom and liberation. Is that all right? All right. Come on, let's pray. Father, we thank you for your word on today. We give you glory, honor, and praise for all that you've done. We stand to receive what you've spoken in our lives today. Liberate us, God. Give us the freedom that only you can. Allow us to walk in obedience to you and only fear you. For your word declares, I don't need to fear man, who can't do nothing but kill the body. But God, I need to fear you, who can destroy body and soul in hell. God, I don't want to go to hell, and I know your people don't either. So even now, God, speak to the hearts of these your people. Let those who will receive clarity from you, hearing of direction, healing. In Jesus' name, we all agree and say amen.